Welcome, everybody. I love seeing that group chat already going. Carrie, always good to see you. Great guy. James, wonderful. I see some new faces. Arven, I think that's how you say it over on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. It's nice that actually LinkedIn is showing me the user. Sometimes it like messes up and just shows me LinkedIn user and doesn't actually tell me the name. So Robert Lee, welcome. Allison, so great to see you. So everybody, Allison Fanstone, if you guys don't know, she actually was onboarded a couple of weeks ago as the marketing director for Outpost Gray. So round of applause to her. We've got some really cool initiatives that are going to be kicking off in the very near term. So really excited about that. Also have some like secret cool news that's going to be announced next week on LinkedIn. So stay tuned for that. We may have some more individuals being onboarded very soon. But okay, why are you guys all here? Well, first off, let me tell you, if you're new here, welcome to the show. I'm thrilled to have you all here. For all my repeat offenders, you guys make this so amazing. You make Thursdays the reason why I do it, really. I come here and it's just a great time to connect with my family and community. Also, really quick, can you guys hear that music playing in the background a little bit? Just a little bit. I was trying something new. Hey, Tom, good to see you. It's super low, but I don't know if you can hear it. I'm trying. Oh, wow, that's some like, we got some gangsters over there. You guys can hear that? Oh, well, let me know if you can hear that. All right, so all my newbies, I am Jax Scott. I am the host here at Outpost Gray, and if you can see above right there, this channel is in collaboration with Grant Thornton. All the thoughts and opinions here are my personal thoughts and opinions and not Grant Thornton's. Every Thursday, I come here live with you from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I always come to you with an amazing guest, and today is definitely no doubt about that. An amazing guest, two of them to be exact. Really excited about this. We're going to have Jessica Bishop and David Meece on the show. If you don't know them, you need to know them. I'm going to drop their LinkedIn profiles in the chat right after this as we go through the live stream. Reach out to them, meet them. Unfortunately, Kim Kennedy is sick, so she will not be with us today, but we will have a repeat on the show. But today, for anybody that's out there that may be struggling trying to break into the industry, or maybe you're in the industry, maybe you're interested in a SOC position, this is the episode. This is the show for you. So stay tuned for that. Really quick, just to do a little teaser, next week is our Female Voice of Technology and Innovation, where we highlight one woman every month, and we really highlight her story. And this month is Dorota. I'm not going to do her last name. I haven't practiced it enough. She's amazing. I got to meet with her just like last week, one-on-one, best friends, instant best friends. She has an amazing story going from IT into pen testing. So I love that. And then last thing, I want to remind you guys, if you don't know about it already, every Friday, I've come out with a new show called the Cyber Fed News Roundup. This is a pre-record. It comes out at 9 a.m. and it provides you the high-level overview of cyber federal news, just like 6 to 7 stories for that week. So I love the show. It runs less than 7 minutes, so definitely check it out. And then for everybody who has checked it out and sent me the comments and messages, I greatly appreciate your guys' feedback. So without further ado, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to get these guests on? I know I am. Let's give our guests, definitely in the chat, everybody give our guests some loves and let's get them on the stage. Here we go. What up? Jessica.
Hey, everybody.
David, how are you guys?
Doing well.
I'm so excited. I've been like pumped about this episode, like pumped. The moment that Mike Jones, and we'll talk about like Mike Jones and how this all transpired, but the moment he told me about giving you guys positions, SOC 1 analyst positions, I was like waiting with bated breath for you guys to make the announcement on LinkedIn. And then after you made the announcement, I'm like, oh my gosh, an episode with the 3 of you, but now 2, would be so great because you all started roughly around the same time. Each of you have interesting backgrounds of how you broke into that sector. So today I'm so excited that you guys can have the platform to share that story and journey. So let's kick it off. First off, let's kick it off with, oh my gosh, you guys got your first cybersecurity jobs. How does it feel? How does it feel, Jessica?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like, I feel like the past 2 years I've just been working and working and working, and then like, bam, there I am. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, David, you've been through so much. I mean, you went through a car accident. You recently had another surgery, weight loss surgery. And on top of that, you were looking for a cybersecurity job. Like, how does this feel?
Oh, it feels amazing, you know, especially being able to give back to the community, breaking in, and just even while I was in the hospital, you know, I would be on LinkedIn like just constantly, you know, just trying my best to put information out there for people. You know, that's another thing I love is helping people break into cyber. So I'm very, very grateful.
Both of you are so good at giving back to the community. And I'm just curious, do you think that giving back helped you to get this position? What do you think, David?
I honestly do. Of course, you know, giving back freely, you know, expecting like nothing in return. I just do it because I love helping people. But I do believe that that really helped a lot too, because I would like being on LinkedIn, you know, every day, just giving back. You know, that's going to get a lot of people, you know, to see you and you know, reach out to you and just volunteering things like that. So I'm very happy about that.
And if anybody knows David, you know that he is extremely selfless in his actions. I just dropped his LinkedIn to follow him. Highly encourage you, reach out, follow David, connect with him on anything if you want mentorship or whatever. I'm letting everybody reach out to you. And same with you, Jessica. So Jessica, you're big in the community with giving back. You're a prior writer. You do like the work that you provide. I really, really enjoy reading some of the work that you've done. Can you talk a little bit about why you started getting the sense of like, I want to be in cybersecurity and I want to give back to this community?
Yeah, I mean, the community aspect is really what made it better. Because when I first started a career change, I was honestly kind of freaked out about LinkedIn, or I thought it was boring. It's just one of those like, oh, look, it's LinkedIn, yay, And I realized I was using it wrong. And once I started getting involved in giving back, like it felt more fulfilling. And I love genuinely giving to people and helping. I mean, and it makes me happy to see people get new jobs and to succeed in even little things. Even when somebody does the easiest try hack me room, it makes me so happy to see them proud of that. And, that's big for them. While somebody who's been in the industry a while might say like, oh man, it's easy. It's not easy for everybody, especially when you have no tech background. So I love seeing that joy in people, and it's kind of a self-feeding cycle, really.
It is I find that within myself too. It's like self-feeding, I like that. It's self-feeding, but sometimes you could even like get a little burnout, and you hear about burnout in this space, even before you guys got into cybersecurity with your positions. Did you ever feel that burnout, just like trying to network, trying to find the job, doing all the things? Can you share a little bit about that, Jessica, of like how that felt even before getting into the space?
Yeah, I mean, I originally pivoted from my prior career because it was just one of those ones where I found the position was constantly eliminated from organizations. So I got, man, if I want to constantly get eliminated, I'm just going to stay in this position, or I could move into something I really want to do. But yeah, I mean, it was about a good solid year and a half of networking. And there was a point when I was like, man, is this doing any good? But what you don't realize is the people that are watching. You don't know who's watching you. So, it was easy to feel burned out, but I think staying as positive as possible during it really helped a lot. Because there was times inside where I'm like, man, maybe I should just go like sweep floors or something. There's nothing wrong with sweeping floors if that's what you want to do. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. And I'm like, but I'm so glad I did not give up. And, I think it's good for people to keep finding that motivation, because you will feel burned out on networking from time to time. And I think at those times, it's good just to step back for a week, step back for a few days. And, you know, even just, I found like I'm a big part of both the Simply Cyber and Cyber Insecurity communities. And I found even when I got tired of LinkedIn, it was good to just jump over there so I could kind of still keep talking, but it was less social media-y, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, that's such a good valid point. David, do you want to add anything to that? Because I know for you, you've got your own personal journey in this space of like putting yourself out there and network, even when you were in the hospital. Like, what was the motivation behind that? Like, you were taking pictures of yourself in the hospital bed. It was really impressive.
Yeah, my motivation, like I said, just wanting to see people succeed. That's my drive and passion. Just to simply just see people succeed and break into the industry. So I was, of course, trying to help people before, and like Jessica said, at some points, I mean, you do experience a little bit of burnout on networking, but but like she said, you can just shift your focus to something else for a while, and then come back to it. I've really enjoyed the journey, and I wouldn't change, any of it.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, so we all know that before you got into cybersecurity, each of you had a job. What were you doing? And Jenny, actually, let's pop this up here. She's very curious, and we were getting there, but I think this is a great segue into talking about what were your prior careers? David, what were you doing prior to being a SOC 1 analyst?
Well, a couple jobs before I got my IT support position and system. I did some system admin work. Before that, a couple years, I was actually working in a call center environment. So I was like on the phones like all day, and I did that for almost 2 years, and I was just getting like so burnt out, and I was going to school. College at the same time. Toward the end, I was doing like full time classes,
That's a lot.
and then I eventually, I broke into IT, and I've done a lot of IT work over the last couple years, and now I've of course into cybersecurity, and during my actually like during my college courses before I even had my IT position, I realized that I wanted to go into cybersecurity because like I would like on my capstone, for instance, I would like write about things like viruses, how to mitigate them, and like different antivirus software, things like that. So I've had a love for security for a few years now, and a lot of my IT like system administration work, that was a lot of security stuff too. So
Mhm.
it was a really good transition, to me to go into, and I love defending. That's what I love to do. So that's why I wanted to try to enter as a SOC analyst.
Do you feel like some of your experience in the IT space helped you get that job or helps you right now in the position?
Oh yeah, like right now, overall, especially like in the seams, like carbon black, because it's so like technical, and like my some of my background has really helped me with that. I mean, there's still a lot to learn because you're never going to learn know everything in IT cybersecurity. So I always tell people that it's okay to not to know everything because it's just it's not possible.
Mhm.
But I believe it really has helped me because I've worked with like so many different systems and softwares, so like
Mm.
switching back and forth. So.
Yeah, I did, and being IT prior as well, I have noticed that some of my skill sets, like especially when going from cyber threat intel now into GRC, I've noticed that those are a lot of IT controls, and so having that IT background has helped me in that space. So yeah, anybody that's listening to this, if you're doing IT, don't think that those like you're going to have to those skills are going to be obsolete. You're going to be able to still utilize them.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so same question for you, Jessica. So you have a unique background. It's not tech at all. So share a little bit about what you were doing prior. I love your
Okay,
background. This is great.
so I actually started off in my adult career world in the early 2000s. I joined the Army as military police because at the time it was the closest to combat arms I could possibly get. My family has a tradition of going into combat arms, and that was a little bit of a problem for me being a woman. So I'm like, well, military police will do because, as you know, I mean, they're right there on the front lines. They do way more than people ever think that they would do. And from there, I while I was in, I got into military police investigations. I reached a point though after I deployed because I did active duty in the National Guard, and I reached a point where I'm like, man, I want weekends. I want to do the family thing. I want to, I want to have a little more of my freedom instead of getting called into formation at 2 a.m. because somebody else did something wrong. So I
Yep.
went and got my associate's degree. I was going to go into zoology, but then I realized I didn't want to get a doctorate because I didn't want to spend the money for it. Honestly, that's a lot of money to spend, and GI Bill only goes so far. So I was like, okay, what do I do? I don't know. I got my associates. I went into the corporate world as an international sales admin and RFP response and cooperative purchasing admin all at the same time. It was all one position. And so I really got into the procurement response and learning about GSA. I administered a very hefty GSA contract, and it was a lot of work, but I loved it. And then, like I said, I got to a point where I've noticed where my whole team was eliminated from that company. The next company I went to, we had a pandemic, and it was a training company. So pandemic plus training was not a good combination for us. And they eliminated my whole department and brought me back to do RFPs. And then once again, federal government wasn't buying training. So they're like, we don't need you. And so I thought to myself, man, I am going to keep getting eliminated if I keep staying in RFP jobs. So I'd wanted to do cyber for a while. So I'm like, let's go for this. And I did the whole college thing, which I'm glad I did. Bachelor's degrees have their time and their place for certain people. For some people, it won't work. But for me, I liked the idea. However, I had the wrong idea about it. For those who have been in the military, when you go through training in the military or a school in the military, you come out knowing how to do that job at a base level. You can get hired right into doing it and hit the ground running. About halfway through college, I was like, this isn't going to happen with college. I got to take some of this on my own. And because I didn't have a tech background, it was a lot of learning. It was a lot of catch up on my own free time to learn the stuff. And like David said, I mean, you're never going to know all of it. And I think that was really helpful about the networking, honestly, because I got exposed to all kinds of people throughout the industry. And it was really helpful seeing senior people say, I don't know everything, And when I would ask them questions, because I would think, when I first started, I was like, oh, they know everything. And they're like, I don't know that. Go ask this person. So
Yeah.
It was a lot of catch up. It was a lot of trying and just networking and getting to know people and coming out of my social shell, because I was kind of shy before. I was like, I don't want to talk to people. But then I was like, oh, talking to people is good. So
yeah,
and then,
you have to talk to people. You have to network. And we're going to talk about how you guys leveraged your network to get this job. But I want to ask you a specific question for you that was asked to you, Jessica. And I think segues well for you, which is, and this is a great question. Thank you, Jeremy. Jessica, have you found that being a veteran has helped with networking and how you approach your jobs?
I think in this industry, yes, because there are a lot of veterans. I think if you were going into another industry, it might actually be harmful a little bit unless you learn how to kind of assimilate and talk to people in that industry. But because a lot of cybersecurity people are veterans, I think it does help, because, you just know, and the importance of defense, the importance of a security posture. So in that way, I think it's really helped.
I love that. That's a great answer. Thank you for that. All right, David, this one's going to be for you. Carrie, I know that Carrie right now is studying for the A+, because we just had a coaching call about this. So excited for Carrie. Yay, everybody. Carrie's planning on taking his A+ test by the end of September, with hopefully if all things go well. So everybody support Carrie in his journey. But he was asking, I'm studying for A+ hardware, just wondering what I can do to help me. I'm studying right now. I'm just trying to get more resources. What advice can you provide him?
One site that's really good is examcompass.com. That would be good for A+. Also, Network Plus. That's what I used to study with whenever I was studying, and of course any A+ books that you can find. Kevin, I believe Kevin Alapirno. I'm sorry if I'm saying his last name wrong, but Kevin A. He is really good in the tech community. YouTube. He has all kinds of. I can actually do something, Gary. I'll send you some information over to
awesome.
help you with that. Yeah, I can make a note of that, and because I know a few classes for free that he can take that'll help him. So
That was amazing. Oh, I love it. Thank you for that.
and
then we've got a question I think is great for both of you guys. I'll kick it off with you first, David. From James, he's just curious. You both have gotten SOC position, which we're going to talk about some of the challenges as you've gotten into that. But what are both of your ultimate career goals?
My career goal, after I want to be a SOC, stay in for a couple years, and then I want to transition over to the red team. Eventually, do some pen testing. That's what I want to get into. I'm not really like thought because there's just so many things that you can pivot into in security. So, but that goal now is just like learning as much as I can on the defensive side before trying to transition over to the red side. So
Smart. I love that. And I think that's really important to do in this space because you can like information overload.
oh yeah.
And then
Definitely.
somebody I was talking to about you just do too much, or, depth of knowledge. And so you're just like a master of nothing. What about you, Jessica? What are do you have any, you've got to have some like ultimate career goals. You've broken into cybersecurity. Like what's next?
Yeah, like David, I mean, I really want to get into red teaming. I'd like to do a couple years in the SOC and then get into red teaming. And then from there, I'd like to pivot into research and malware analysis and development. There was a LinkedIn user who brought up, I don't know their name because it just said LinkedIn user. They asked about offensive security, and I think that whether you start offensive or defensive, it's helpful because you're going to use it on the other side no matter what you do. But having no IT experience, I think that starting on SOC is perfect because you get to research everything. You get that time to see the alerts coming through and say, oh, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Because going back to, you'll never know everything in tech, even if you started in IT. I mean, in the SOC, you get time to say, like, I know this, but does it apply in this situation? Which will eventually help in, red teaming, because then you can look back and say, oh, okay, I remember this, this, and this, and I remember that the way to get around it is this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's problem solving. You definitely learn that in SOC too. So, all right, let's talk about how you landed the positions in where you're at right now. And then we're going to talk what I want to share next. And I know we've still got some questions, Milton. I'm tracking yours and I'm tracking a couple of others, but I still want us to talk about like a couple of other things, which is how did you guys land this position? Like networking was a key thing, but can you tell like a high level of your process of landing that job and what that looked like? Because I know that there was definitely trials and challenges to getting there and then getting that call of like, hey, you're getting hired for a SOC 1 position. Jessica, go first on that. Let me hide this message.
Yeah, I think to start off with networking, I think people miss a key part of it. And I wrote this in a response to Karen the other day on her post, is that people think I just got to network with people and somebody will give me a job. And that's not the case. It's not like you just go up to I hit you up out of the blue. And I think the doctor touched on this on your episode. Was it last week? You can't just go up to somebody and say, be my mentor or give me a job. They don't know you. They got to get to know you first. So it was just, getting through that whole thing. It was building up those relationships and volunteering where you can and doing things for other people and putting your work out there. I know it can be embarrassing. We seem to be in this time where everybody wants everything so perfect. But nobody's going to be perfect. Put your work out there, and be willing to take feedback on it. You're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. There's a good community in LinkedIn, and most people will give you constructive criticism or constructive feedback. Every now and again, you'll get the person that's like, that's dumb. But you know what? You can just ignore them because you have a whole bunch of other people on your side helping. And, for me personally, I was actually surprised when I got contacted about getting a job. I had done, some articles before. I did an article for Mike and was just part of the community. And about a year later, he hit me up and was like, hey, do you want to work in a SOC? I'm like, yes, I do. But it was a surprise. I had no idea it was coming. But I think what really helped through it all is finally picking a focus. Because like we've all know, cybersecurity has so many cool things in it. I mean, there's so much coolness about it. It's hard to pick a focus. It's like but once I find them, I finally actually said, all right, I'm going to be red team. I'm just going to start building my brand towards that and focusing on it. But keeping that open mind too, when somebody offers you a SOC job, even if you want to be red team and you don't have experience, take the SOC job.
Yes.
Because you're going to learn things to help you in your eventual goals. And getting that experience might change your mind too. You never know. You might start in on it and be like, whoa, I love this. So I think genuinely networking, getting to know people is what helps, and giving to people, and not ignoring the people who are just coming in behind you. Because I think we're in a great spot with Dave and I just getting this job. Because while some people who have been in the industry for 5, 10, 15 years, they've forgotten what it was like when they were trying to get in. And it was a different era. It was a different time period for many of them, where they kind of got just transitioned into it. And it's different now. Everybody wants to get in. So you have to build those connections, and you have to keep your eyes out for the opportunities instead of putting blinders on. So
yeah, if anybody listening to this, like big takeaway on this is going to be like networking, but developing those relationships, being intentional with them. And I saw it in the chat earlier, but it was like just reaching out to somebody and just being like, hi, this is so-and-so. And this happened to me 2 weeks ago. Somebody just reached out to me, never had communicated with them before. And their first message was, can you get me a cybersecurity job? And I'm like, oh, what's your name? So, and like you said too, I love this, Jessica, it can be scary to put yourself out there, especially if you're an introvert. It doesn't feel good to be criticized when you're putting out content, but make sure you have a close circle of people around you, and just know that haters are going to hate. It could happen, but put your content out there and realize that if you're part of a good community like Outpost Gray or Simply Cyber, we're going to uplift you and we're going to encourage you. But that's going to help you. It's all about networking and being super intentional. I love that, Jessica. David, how about you? How was your approach like breaking into this? I know you've got a lot of followers on LinkedIn. Like, did that help you with getting this job? Like, how did it all kind of transpire where they called you and like, David Meece, do you want to be a SOC 1 analyst? Yes.
All right. Well, first of all, like Jessica said, volunteering your time, just not being afraid to put yourself out there. At first, I'm like, anyone else, I was scared, at first, but once I started doing it, started doing more speaking events, I got more used to it, and I was like, well, it's not as bad as you think, once you get started. And I noticed Josh Mason, a few people had been volunteering, like Jessica and some other folks, and I thought, well, I'll reach out to Josh. I was like, well, it's worth a shot to see if I can volunteer. And he's like, yeah, he's like, yeah, come on, we need some help. So I helped him with writing like blogs, like security blogs each week. And I think that really helped, like focus. Would like at least post 3 to 5 times a week content, like a lot of it's original content. And if you are going to use someone else's content, just to be sure, that you always use add value, to that content. And as far as networking, what I would suggest, what I did, I picked like let's say if you wanted to pick like 3 to 5 different companies that you want to work at, and then just reach out to people. Let's say if you want to be a SOC analyst, reach out to different SOC analysts in the company, or if you want to be a pen tester, reach out to pen testers. And just what I did, I would reach out, ask for like a time for like a 15-minute coffee chat, like a virtual coffee chat. And you'd be surprised like how many people would say yes. There's just so many people that will help you. And I just want to let people know, that there, especially in the cybersecurity community. I mean, it's just so, so tight, and people's willing to help. And what I would do, I would just pick people's brains, from when I would talk to them about, like, maybe ask, like, what's your day-to-day position look like? That way, you can find out what role best for you. And personally, I had a good success doing that. And also just reaching. Don't be afraid to reach out to hiring managers, recruiters, and ask for informational interviews. That way about the company. And I always tell people too, as far as like interviewing, the more you talk to the people inside of a company, the more you can learn like what tools they use, what they do every day, and that's going to give you an advantage in an interview. A lot of things is not listed. Whenever recruiters put it up, it's not listed in the job description. So, and and I think just learning as much as possible. And another thing that what I did, just trying to find your like Jessica said, finding your focus. I think that's one of the hardest things. And like my journey, the way I found my focus, I would try try hack me. For example, I did like a few modules on try hack me, and then I would post like every day on LinkedIn. That way people could see it. And then and I did like a range force and let's defend platform. And I realized SOC analyst is what I wanted to do. It's just like don't need to try, different things, but you never know what you enjoy until you actually do it. So I just want people to know not to be afraid to try different things. And yeah, and another thing, just one thing I'd like to mention to people is, and that was my cyber tech 100 days challenge of cyber, to help people too in the community. And I just wanted to mention that real quick. It's hashtag cyber tech day 100 days of cyber challenge. And I've had a lot of good feedback. People's telling me, that it really helping them focus, and it gets their name, puts their name out there too. So that's another thing about networking. So I think that's, and like you said about it, probably about 9 months later after networking, Mike reached out to me and he's like, I have a SOC analyst position available. And I was like Jessica, I couldn't believe it at first, and I'm just so happy, that so blessed that he reached out. It's such a great opportunity for our first cyber position. A lot of fun along the way, and that's part of it. Just have fun the journey. I know it gets disheartening, like not being able to find the position, but I just urge you just not don't give up. You will get there.
That's awesome. Yeah. This is gold. Jeremy, I agree with you. This information is gold. I dropped their links to their LinkedIn inside of the chat. Make sure you all follow Jessica and David and reach out to them. Great resources. I want to take a moment to ask a couple of questions that had come in. I think this is a really good one for you, Jessica. I've got a really good one for you, David. Angel, I think is how you say it. I hope I didn't get it wrong, but for you, Jessica, how do you overcome not having an IT experience to get into SOC or cybersecurity? David had IT, but you did not. How did you overcome that to break in?
A lot of it was just needing to realizing that I needed to do some of it on my own. I mean, when I was little, my dad was big into computers, so I was always interested in what he was doing. So, I mean, this is gonna to age me a little bit, but he had a TRS-80, right? And I used to, try things on that. And my dad would try things on, show me things. And then, I got out of tech for a long time. So, but I knew I liked it. But I think a big part of it is realizing that you have strengths right now that can help you. I know David mentioned cyber supply drop and Josh Mason. And Josh Mason was a huge part of this because, we were on Discord one day and he was talking about needing something for cyber supply drop. And I said, hey, I have proposal response experience. Do you need help with a proposal template? I wasn't volunteering for him at the time, but I was like, he needs this, help somebody out who's freely gives information to all of us all. And then he's like, you want to join us with cyber supply drop? I'm like, yes. So that helped. I mean, and Josh, he became a kind of mentor, and now I consider him a friend. But, having that person with experience to bounce stuff off of is helpful. So, going back to the question, if you don't have any IT experience, start, you don't have to get your A+, but start studying for the A+. Look into how things work. Be curious about it. If you have a machine that an old laptop or an old computer you can get into, just get in there and start doing things. If you break it, reimage it, reinstall your Windows, reinstall your Linux, whatever system you're using. I can't help you with Mac because I don't know what happens if you break Macs because I haven't had one to practice on. But yeah, there's probably a way to do that too. Just, I think breaking out of that, I don't want to break stuff, to break stuff, break it. Don't take a hammer to it because then you'll really be learning how to fix it. But try different things. If it doesn't work, start over. But do write-ups about it so that you can post it up so that people know you're doing something. If you have the energy. And I know a lot of people say, post your write-ups, post your write-ups, post your write-ups. And that is good. But if you're finding you're more worried about the write-up than you are the project, get the knowledge from the project and then think about how you're going to work write-ups in. Because it would be better to start on the project, do the project, and get the knowledge so you have something to show for what you're doing than worrying about a write-up. And then, like I said, the write-ups do help, but don't let that be your main focus. But you do need to learn to communicate the IT stuff. And that's where people with different backgrounds have some great experience. Kimberly, we all love Kimberly because Kimberly's awesome. She came from a hospitality background and she can really use that in cybersecurity. I saw somebody said they were a chef before. You've worked on a team. You've worked with creating intricate things or, even simple dishes, but it's a team process, which is part of cybersecurity. And start taking, while you're learning your tech, thinking about how you would explain that to somebody who doesn't know tech, because that's also going to help. If you're great at memorizing, I guess you could memorize a textbook and read it back. But if you don't understand it, what good does it do you? So learn how to think about it in ways that help you. And if something's not helping it click, find a different way to think about it. I found I used to think about things because I did a lot of writing in terms of how words look on a page, if that makes sense. But I found I had to switch my thinking for tech. And for me, it helps now to picture tech more as, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, but it's not crazy. But thinking about it more like a heads up display, kind of thinking about it in terms of objects and how maybe the information flows or the data flows or processes work. So that personally has helped me. And everybody will have their own thing. But just use your experience you already have and bring forth your strengths because they're going to help. And you just work, you got to work at it though. It's not going to be spending, 30 minutes a week reading about something cool you like. You have to learn, you're going to have to learn it. While on the job would be awesome. If you can come across an apprenticeship, take the apprenticeship. Because I think that would really be a big thing for this industry is more apprenticeships, but those are few and far between. So you just got to get out there and start practicing and learning and experimenting. So.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about that because I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I'm like, man, if I could develop something that would help the industry with individuals that are looking to break in and have a program that is like 3 to 6 months, more than just a boot camp, but like it's part of a program that an organization can buy into, and they can pick like three seats or something. It's a yearly membership. And what you do is these people join, they get paid like a certain amount, they get trained, and then they work for the company for 3 to 6 months. And then the company can decide to hire them on or not, but now they have real world hands-on experience, and it like goes through but the organization is paying this other company to do that, to bring them on. I don't know. That will be another episode, but I am thinking through that, because this is a systemic issue that we have, that we've got to figure out how we can get more individuals like yourself in these entry-level roles. But I won't go off on that tangent. So David, for you, I actually have a question specifically for you I think would be really good, that Milton, I hope you're still in here, Milton. It took me a little bit to get to it, but he was saying, I've been applying for cybersecurity jobs for 6 months and getting so many rejections. I understand that. Is there any average amount it takes to get your foot in the door, or maybe average time? What would you say, David?
I know from what I've seen, most people, it takes anywhere from like 8 months to two years. There's really no like certain time. I would suggest like maybe trying to revise. If you're getting a lot of rejections, I would suggest maybe trying to revise your resume. Have a lot of people, look at your resume, and just like I said, if you can get any referrals from people, that would really, and just reach out to like I said earlier, to reach out to the hiring manager, and just ask for like a informational interview, because I've had hiring managers tell me that they're like, yeah, I'm glad that you reached out. There's not many people that does that. So I think a lot of they really, they can appreciate that. So yeah, just don't give up, Milton. And I know you're do some IT work, and a lot of good skills that'll transfer over to some. Just hang in there.
Yeah, I think you nailed a lot of the points. It was just, I know 3 months is typically the mark for getting, let me hide that message, for getting just a typical job. But I feel like cybersecurity, it just depends. It depends on if you're trying to get an entry-level job. It could take 6, 8 months, even longer. It depends on the entry-level job that you want. Like you, David, I think you brought up a good point on resume. And I actually, for you, Milton, I did a resume panel. You might want to go check that out. I'll share it from YouTube. And I had some amazing panelists. Stefan Simmelroth was on there. Joe Hudson was on there. And Jen Beatty was on there. They were recruiters or have been recruiters. We even did a resume review, and I provide a template, because David nailed it. Like, that's really critical, because if your resume doesn't tell the right story, recruiters just throw it out before you even get a fair chance to get past the gatekeeper. So that's one of the main areas that I've seen where people are just not getting that chance to even go through or you go through 5 interviews and then you're told, 4 weeks, 5 weeks later that you didn't get the job, which also drives me crazy. So yeah, it can be definitely defeating. Okay, so we've got some questions and I see them coming in, but I guess I want to ask you guys, because I still want to cover, and we're like about 11 minutes to go. I still want to cover and talk about like challenges as you got into the space, or do you guys want me to filter the questions? I'm thinking like talk about the challenges in the space. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think so. I think
I'm good for either one. I think it's important for people to know some of the challenges,
Yeah.
because it's a little different than LinkedIn world once you get in. It's still good, but
100%. Yeah, so let's talk about that. And what I want to share with everybody is you can tell Jessica and David are really excited to be in SOC 1 positions. I love what I'm doing, but there are challenges that we don't always share about getting into these roles that I want each of you to share with the community so they can kind of prepare, because it'll be unique to both of you. So Jessica, if you can kick it off, like you've got the job and everything, what are some challenges that you've already faced just being in this new role?
I think part of it is changing the audience of who you're talking to. And I don't mean, tech versus non-tech. I mean, just in general, like, because I came from mostly a corporate world where I was dealing with marketing and procurement people, I've discovered that you have to talk differently to tech departments than you do procurement people. And, it's just, you're going to make mistakes. You have to learn to brush it off. And if you need to, talk through those mistakes with your boss when you get in, talk through your mistakes with your friends, and sometimes it just helps getting a different perspective, because when you've been in a career, and like I'm in my 40s now, and I just switched careers. So I'm used to being, not at the bottom. And when you're starting back over at the bottom, there's just things that you forgot about that you got to go back to. And that's okay. I mean, I am so happy I did this. You also have to just work at not being embarrassed about things. Like I'm not really embarrassed about much anymore. So if I make a mistake, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I made the mistake. I'm learning from it, but you're not going to know things, and that's okay. That is okay. You're going to learn things that seem like really simple to some people, but you didn't know. And I think once you're in, it's also still helpful sharing the information, because you don't know who also doesn't know. They're just not talking about it because they're embarrassed. So
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. All right, David, I'm going to pivot over to you for, you're in the position now, some challenges that you face being in this SOC 1 position.
I would say one challenge would be like, because we deal with like a lot of times, it's like communication, like what we had mentioned earlier. Communication is so important. I think especially remote, it's just a learning process. This is my first remote position, so like Jessica said, there's plenty of people that you can reach out. Reach out to your boss, your friends. If you're having a bad day, try to get someone else's perspective on it. But like I said, I think like communicating with different clients, because each client is different. That's something that you don't really know until you, like you said, you get into the field, and then you start learning stuff. And it's just learning, like each client wants their network basically like set up, how everything works, what blocked, what they don't want blocked. So communication can definitely go a long ways there. And that's and just but it's been really, that's been challenging to me. Some of the tools, like certain tools, I know I have a IT background, but I mean, I'll be the first one to admit, some of the tools we use, I've never used them. So it's like a brand new learning process. But hey, like I said, just be prepared to go in and know, that you don't know everything, and just learn something new every day, and just keep building upon that. So, and we've only been here for about 3 or 4 weeks, but I feel like I've learned so much just within that amount of time. It's crazy how much, if you really dig, you just really got to dig in, and just keep learning. But that's some of the challenges, I would say, for me.
That's so great. Yeah, no, that's great. Communication, I think a key is just across the board. Jessica and I were talking about that, some communication challenges just recently. So yeah, it's definitely key. I think in this space, you're always going to be learning. Sorry, folks, if you're thinking about breaking into the industry, this is definitely not an easy road by any means. It's constantly learning. And I joke sometimes, I'm like, did I make the right decision leaving CTI to go to GRC? but I love what I do. It's very challenging, not gonna lie. Some people are like, oh, GRC is an easy way in. Joke's on you. It's a lot. And Jessica knows, like, it's a lot of research. There's a lot of writing, and that takes like a different aspect, a different skill set. And a lot of people in cybersecurity don't like the writing side. You hear that all the time from pen testers, because that's not a skill that a lot of people enjoy, that writing. And I enjoyed it. I just didn't realize I wasn't a very good BIA, business impact analysis writer. It's a different type of writing. So you learn, you grow, and you just mature. And yeah, ask questions. If any, like, to conclude that, make sure that you are in a safe space. So culture is important, that you can ask questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't try to guess, ask your community. If you're afraid to ask at work, ask us, ask the OG community, ask the Simply Cyber community. That's what we're here for. Okay, so you guys, we're about 5 minutes out, and I know everybody that's in chat, you guys have been amazing. I know that there's some pending questions, but we're coming up on time, so we're not going to be able to answer all of them. But what I would say is reach out to David and reach out to Jessica with any questions that you have. I know they would be more than willing to help you with answering those questions. Christopher, I saw yours. Jorge, or I'm not sure, I might have said that wrong. I saw your question. And then Lydia, I'll answer this one really quick, but she made a question about, as an active duty military spouse, do you think it's possible to get a remote cyber role or a remote? Short answer, just like Jessica's had, because we're both military. Yes. Yeah. You'll be fine. Reach out to Jessica or I. We can help you out on that. That's totally possible. But before I send you guys back to the green room, I want to give you both an opportunity to take center stage and just do some last thoughts with the guests right now. And I will pivot it over to David. I'll let you go first.
All right. Yeah, been great. I've really enjoyed the time on. I can't see all of the questions that you have, but if anyone has any more questions, I'd be happy to reach out. And like Jeff, anyone has any questions at all, they can find me on LinkedIn. So just don't be able to reach out. If I don't get back right away, and if I don't message you back within the next couple of days, just send me another message, because I might have accidentally missed it. But just reach out to me, and we'll be more than happy to help you in any way that we can. And I'm sure Jessica, she's willing to help too. So
Absolutely. David, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Jessica, you are up next.
Like David said, I mean, you can reach out to me anytime. I connect with everybody. If somebody turns out to be not a great connection, I mean, as far as a scammer or something, I boot them off. But not everybody's brave enough to speak the first time, and that's okay. Just connect. If you want to talk later, we can. I want to say, I did want to mention though, I saw Kevin Apollinario in here with KevTech IT support. If you don't have an IT background, go check out his Discord, go check out his community. KevTech will get you right where you need to be with IT. And his stuff's very, very helpful for people who don't have an IT background. So, find communities like that. And, I have to plug Simply Cyber, because I love Jerry and his channel and his community. And, Jerry was the first person who I ever got brave enough to talk to on LinkedIn. And he was very welcoming. And I think he introduced me right to you, Jax, because I had a question he couldn't answer. And so just find those communities and don't give up. I know it's hard sometimes. If you really want this, fight for it. And you're going to have times you don't feel like fighting. That's okay. Step back and take a break and get right back in the fight, because it's so worth it.
100%. I love that. And I love all the shout outs. Kev, it was good to see you in the chat. I threw like all of Kev's information. Like, you can get Kevin on LinkedIn. I threw it in there, and his YouTube. Definitely link and reach out to him. Also a great resource. All right. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for having the time to come on the show and be with all of us. I mean, you guys are part of the community, so you're just on the other side of the chat this time. It's awesome.
Thank you for having us.
I have loved seeing everybody's comments and seeing the
Oh, yeah.
chat back and forth. It's so cool from this side. So.
It is. It was getting, yeah. And I know, again, I know there were some questions we didn't answer, but reach out to any of us on here and we'll help you with that. All right. You guys are the best. I'm sending you to the green room. See you later.
All right.
Bye. Bye. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I had literally been looking forward to this discussion for a while. It seemed like you all enjoyed it as well. So thank you so much. Before we wrap, really quick, I'm going to try to do this in 60 seconds or less. For anybody that's new here, if you've enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you hit subscribe and then shared this out with others. Also, if you are new here, I go live every Thursday, as you can see, from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. And I bring amazing guests on the show. And next week, just so you're tracking, we're going to be talking with Dorita, and she is the August highlight for the female voice of technology and innovation. Fascinating story going from what we were just talking about, the IT world, into cybersecurity, specifically pen testing. Don't want to miss that. She's actually going to be calling in from Poland. Amazing. We met, we're virtual besties now. Amazing woman. Also, friendly reminder, if you haven't already subscribed or at least watched the CyberFed news, you're missing out. Every Friday morning at 9 a.m., I post this pre-recorded show, 7 minutes or less. And what it is cybersecurity in the federal space. And I highlight the top news stories of the week. And it's roughly 7 minutes or less. And I'm loving all of the feedback. You guys are great. So I'm going to wrap it up because I know it is 4:31. And if you guys don't know it, head over to Simply Cyber YouTube. I'll drop the link right now. Go over there and make sure to jump into his live stream, Jerry Ozier's live stream, and drop in there #OutpostGray. And I'll see you guys over there here shortly. I'm dropping the link in right now because if I don't do it before I hang up on here, the chat ends and it's just disastrous. You guys are the best. Thank you always. Love seeing you all. Okay, I'm signing out. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to hit this button before I sign out. Okay, bye.